Hey, what's up YouTube? So today we ended up doing a lot of inscribed ultimatums. You can see the portal right here, the Zhao Arena. Now overall, this was kind of profitable, but I will go over it later on about how profitable it was and whether I'll continue doing it. I even have like a little bit of a live search going on with exalted orbs, so I can show you guys like how exactly to look up them, which ones are worth doing, and how much money I was able to make from this method. I also was able to do T17 100% Delirium map, and I actually found a doctor card in my first burial chambers at 100% Delirium. So that's actually incredibly lucky. So I actually sold the doctor already. So I'm at 64 exalts now after buying the headhunter. So today was actually a pretty good day currency wise. Now the doctor card I know was severely nerfed in the drop rate, so it's extremely lucky. I know someone in my chat said they did over like 400 maps or so and they only got like one or two doctors. So definitely an aberration, and it's definitely not something that I could expect to see often. And I wasn't even using a scarab for div cards, so yeah. Sometimes luck is just luck, and if you play the game, you will get lucky sometimes. Also did a lot of gambling on stream today with the div card turn-ins. I turned in, what's it called? This card, the cheater. So like sometimes like I'll do the div card gambles for the inscribed ultimatums to double them up. And I got a Awakened Swift Affliction. It's actually probably one of the better gems because I think a level 6 one goes for like 7ish X. Although I'm not really sure when it will sell because I feel like a lot of the market this league for like high-end items is kind of dead. It takes a long time for items to sell. Like even like this pair of boots that I spent a lot more than 19 exalts crafting, and I tried to get the enchant, is having trouble selling at 19 exalts even though it's absolutely insane. But in the end, stuff is just a lot harder to sell this league in terms of the high end items. I don't know if it's because people are poor or they're just not like buying items at the same rate, or people don't really want to perfect their gear because they think it's not possible because of harvest. Either way, high end items, if you craft them, take a while to sell. Even this Watcher's Eye with Hatred Crit, immune to freeze, can't even sell at 10x. So I don't know what that really means for the league in the long term. But anyhow, I'm gonna go over the gear overview, show you off like what I made changes to perfect this build for inscribed ultimatums. Currently, I am 100% win rate in inscribed ultimatums, not even close. Actually, I'll show you a close call later on. I got to 6 ruin and had to play like half of the whole inscribed ultimatum with 6 ruin stacks, and that was a true butt clenching moment. But let's get straight into the gear overview before we moved on to the inscribed ultimatums. So for the gear overview, we basically have the exact same nebulous, same helm, same amulet. And okay, so let's start with stuff that I actually changed. The boots I crafted on cannot be frozen. This allowed me to buy a Watcher's Eye that's like this. So this Watcher's Eye was actually only I think 12x. It's actually insane how cheap some of the tie-in stuff is. Like yeah, Hatred Crit Cold Pen is really expensive at like 60-80x. But this Watcher's Eye was only like 12x. It gives me Hatred Crit. It makes me immune to shock, which is huge because shock immunity is absolutely imperative in your character not dying. It is also clarity ES, so you can see I have 5019 ES now. Now some other changes I made was I auged chaos onto this jewel. So this is probably like almost a perfect jewel for what you would want. Maybe you want int instead of all attributes. But this jewel allows me to get the positive chaos res, so I'm at positive 4%. I swapped over my Dying Sun to Aziri's Promise for more chaos res, so with the flask I'm at 39%. And let's see, what other changes did I do? Oh, I got 70% mana regen on my boots. I actually did lab again today, and I actually got an Ice Spear Fire as an additional projectile helmet. Not sure exactly how much this is, but I think it's like 2.5, 3x. So lab is actually pretty profitable. I actually also got a Burning Arrow enchant on Asenath's Chant, which I sold for 4x. So overall, most of my jewels are exactly the same, but this is the main change I made, which is to get this Watcher's Eye, and it's actually helped out my ES a lot. So now I'm pretty tanky, don't really die that much anymore, except when I did the 100% Delirium map. But overall, the damage is okay. It's not exactly the best at the moment. But with this setup, it's not really about the damage. To do inscribed ultimatums, you just want your character to be tanky. So during the Inscribed Ultimatums, I don't even run RF because I want the regen, because the damage never really matters because the content is just not that challenging. But you can really see how big of a difference it is when you do the 100% Delirium maps, because the damage is just not really there. Like, I have to make sure I have to smite constantly. Now, the reason why the damage is really not there is because of the lack of crit multi right now. I think 364% is pretty low, because you should be able to get to 420%. I don't really know why it's so low at the moment. I think, am I actually missing a double multi-jewel? I don't really think so. But maybe my multi-jewels are just kind of bad. Like, they're low multi, like 20s instead of 30s. But I also have this jewel, which I probably, I mean, it's not too bad, but that's like 30 multi right there. So every little bit adds up. And here you could use a Transcendent Flesh for like 45% or 51% multi. And once you get to 400% multi, you'll feel a lot better. Like, this whole build is all about scaling multi. Like, if you ever wonder why your damage is bad, there's 3 components to damage: your crit chance, your crit multi, and how much pen you have. So if you don't have the pen with cold pen or like other sources of pen on your necklace, then you'll have bad pen for damage, and your boss damage will be mediocre. Now, faster projectiles I was running for a lot of the times because faster projectiles covers the whole arena better. But for 100% Delirium map, I swapped over to hypothermia because the damage was just not there, because you're missing 40% more damage on a link compared to something that's increased damage. So it's a huge difference. Now, the main reason I would probably use Control Destruction right here, but I don't have a blue link, so you would need a Shaz with 1 white socket. So overall, like, you can see like how I tailor the gear and the gear choices I make for the content I'm doing. Since I'm doing Inscribed Ultimatums, I want to use a Headhunter, since Headhunter is literally unbeatable. And then I want to be tanky as possible so I don't die and fail the ultimatum. And since I don't need that much damage, I don't need to focus so much on getting my crit multi up and my damage in hideout, because with RF on, my damage is only what, 672,000. That's just absolutely awful. I think with this gem in, I'm at 703,000. But with like Control Destruction in, I would probably be at like 1 mil or so. But that's something to keep in mind. Now, a lot of people ask about my helmet, and I do intend to craft a hubris one day, since there's no exposure being applied with the purities. If you want the exposure to apply, you have to put heralds in. So in order to do that, I have to swap out my arrogance to something else. But at the moment, I just can't make the mana work, since my RMR is too bad, as I'm still actually missing a Might of the Meek RMR and an Intuitive Leap RMR. So that's 2% RMR right there. I'll probably pick up these upgrades in the coming days, as these are kind of easy upgrades and they aren't too expensive. Also, getting another Voices 3 will save me 2 passive points, which I could put in ES or these multi-notes, which are pretty strong. So there's a lot of upgrades still left to be had. This character is still kind of relatively young in terms of like its progression state, mainly because currency making in this league has been kind of slow. Like, I know flipping items or crafting items is the best money, but I mean, it's not like my gear is cheap by any means. With the Headhunter, this gear set's probably like 3 mirrors or so, but it's definitely possible to make more currency. So I was really hoping that Inscribed Ultimatums would be pretty good, but now I'm going to talk about Inscribed Ultimatums and how much profit you can actually make from them. So coming into today, I was trying to do Inscribed Ultimatums to make the money, the big money. So Inscribed Ultimatums are pretty much just pure gambling where you control your fate. So you sacrifice like a certain amount of currency. This is 10 Regal Orbs. And then you put in 10 Regals and out comes, it doubles the sacrifice currency. Now you can search this up on here. So I might include this in for people. So these are the main ones you want to do. Exalted Orbs. So Exalted Orbs, you can see right here the profit margin, right? You put in 130 Chaos or you buy this, and then out pops an Exalt. Or 150 Chaos, or whatever, how much it is. So the thing that people don't understand, like a lot of people price these thinking that you'll get 2 Exalts out of it, but they don't understand that you have to put in 1 Exalt yourself. So a lot of people just price these really ridiculously. Now, there's no way to sort by like the sacrifice, so you can't really sort by 4 Exalts. So the only way to do it is you want to do it like this. You want to set the buyout price to minimum 3 Exalts, and this will show you the ones that you are probably interested in. Like, these are actually pretty easy, like 3.5x. You do this, you require sacrifice 4x. This is like almost guaranteed. So if you buy this, you make back 0.5x, and this takes 2 minutes to do. 0.5 exalts for 2 minutes is not too bad. Like if you say that you can do 20 of them in an hour, you can make 10 exalts an hour doing inscribed ultimatums. But you can see the problem here is that this is the only one at 3.5x. The next ones are at 3.8x, 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 3.9x. So at 3.9x, even if you do 20 of them in an hour, you're making 2 exalts. So that's terrible money. But now you can see there's 8 exalt ones. So like supposedly the ones that are more risk, like 8 exalts, should be better, but there's still 0.5 exalt margin. Now these ones are actually pretty scary, because these ones, if you fail, you lose 16 exalts. So you're literally putting on the line 16 exalts to gain 0.5 exalts. And that's just like, some people don't want to take the risk, right? Like eventually you might fail. Like I haven't failed yet, but that doesn't mean everyone won't fail. It doesn't mean your internet won't go out randomly, especially ones with Ruin 3. Like I wanted to quickly go over the mods that are really bad for us. Ruin 3 with Survive and Stone Circles is really scary. You can randomly get Ruin stacks, and once you reach 7 Ruin stacks, which is from the mob hitting you or throwing projectiles at you, you immediately fail it. Even if you don't die, you can fail it. And another thing that's really dangerous for us is Treacherous Auras. So right here, I have not Treacherous Auras. Treacherous Auras pretty much just gives the mobs like infinite damage, because it gives the enemies our auras. I tried it one time and I instantly got insta-gib, so I do not recommend you do that. In terms of the easiest to hardest, the easiest one is probably Protect the Altar and defeat waves of enemies. And the hardest one is Stone Circles. And then the second to the hardest one is Survive. Stone Circles is hard because if you're doing Ruin, you're forced to stay in a area, and you can kind of dodge it, but sometimes you just get unlucky and you get hit, and that's just how it works. So like another problem with doing these ultimatums is some people are just plain out ridiculous. Like these people think that you do these ultimatums, you put in 4 exalts, you get 4 exalts out of it, right? But they're trying to sell the ultimatum as 7 exalts because they think that you get 8 exalts from this because it doubles the currency. So they don't even count the fact that you have to put in the 4 exalts yourself. So this just ends up being a complete scam. So the payout for this is 4 exalts, but you have to buy the ultimatum for 7 exalts. That's just ridiculous. So basically these people have no idea what's going on. So unfortunately, a lot of these like potential ones that you could do just don't work out because people don't understand that you have to sacrifice your own currency, and you don't just get to do a free roll of this. So this also makes it a lot harder for the supply because there's just so many people that don't understand. I guess technically I can message these people and explain it to them that it doesn't work like that. You are not going to get 6 exalts out of something that you only get 4 exalts out of. But just want to go over quickly the other ones that I was doing. The Nurse is a pretty good one. This one's 7.2x. Oh, this one is actually really good. Survive 7.2. Ruin 1, not too bad. Hindering Flask. I would probably buy this one and do it. In fact, I might buy it right now. Unnatural Instinct is really good too. Stand in the Stone Circles. So this is like 7.5x one. So this is a 0.5x one. But the difference with these ones is the sacrifice is something cheap. This is actually a bad one because Primordial Might is like an 80 Chaos Jewel. So this one here, Primordial for Natural Instinct, this is not like you don't risk 16 exalts. The only money you risk for this is the price of the ultimatum and the sacrifice. And since the sacrifice is a cheap ass jewel, you won't be risking an insane amount of money like the exalted currency ones. But this is not too bad if you can get it like 6.5-ish. The Cheater is another good one. This is the Awaken level 6 gamble. 5 exalts is kind of high because the card itself is only 2.7x. So whenever the sacrifice is less money than the price of the inscribed ultimatums is when you have a huge problem. So Luring Bounty is another one. I think this is a 10 exalt one. This is actually very, very cheap. So I should buy some of these. So you can see that a lot of these ones are, it's more about sniping it than being able to do it consistently. Like if you were able to do this the whole time, Ryslata's Coil, 6 exalts, 0.2 exalt profit, not too good. Like the whole deal of these is that these ones are more about finding them and then like doing it all at once. This one's pretty hard. Ruin 3 Survive. I would be very scared to do this one. This one is like a 5 exalt gamble or 10 exalt if you fail. So basically, like I think the best way to approach inscribed ultimatums is to set up some live searches and buy the ones that come up instead of trying to just tunnel vision this one method of making money the whole time, since there's just not enough cards up to do this, unfortunately. But anyhow, I hope that gives you some insight on how inscribed ultimatums work and how it's actually pretty fun, but there's just not enough inscribed ultimatums. Maybe it was better at the start of the league, but there's less players right now. But we'll see. Maybe it'll pick back up, as I don't really know. Maybe if you buy them throughout the day, it'll be better. But overall, it's insanely profitable. It's probably the fastest Exalt or half Exalt you can make. You can make it in like a minute or two or 30 seconds for to survive or to kill the waves of monsters. But now I'm gonna try to show you some clips of the inscribed ultimatums. I actually had one that I was stuck on 6 ruin for the longest time, and that was like with like 8 Exalt gamble. And then I also want to show the doctor drop I had and a quick showcase of the build in a T17 100% map with double life mods. Now the build is definitely was not tailored for Delirium maps when I did it, but it is definitely more than capable of clearing it. And in the end, when you do a 100% Delirium map, the biggest thing is about whether you can have beyond mobs, and when you roll beyond, it makes it a lot easier. The whole like Delirium mapping thing with 100% is all about utilizing the headhunter and getting as many headhunter buffs as you can. So if you want to do a 100% map, it is highly advisable to have beyond on the map for more headhunter buffs, and it makes it exponentially easier. The more mobs, the more rare mobs you have, the easier it will be. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed these clips, and yeah, this build is definitely capable of doing 100% Delirium maps. Tools in town with RF. It's only 750k, but it doesn't have the link. I don't have a control destruction in, because I'm using faster proj.
I have nothing more to give.
I mean, honestly, the clear is like fine. It's just. If because I don't have a damage link in. I'm using faster proj, gives no damage. Hey, just because you don't need any DPS to do ultimatums, so it's kind of pointless. But obviously in this content, you actually need an actual damage link. I'm using hypothermia right now. It's not too bad. The big difference is just the beyond. Like having like 20 head on the buffs would be a lot better. Like look at this right now, just because I have head on the buffs.
Will you wash clean the mark? You will fall to ruin. Ruin arrives suddenly.
This is pretty crazy.
Ruin surrounds you.
Well, I would probably go double nebulous with RMR clusters for this, but
Ruin seeks you. Ruin arrives suddenly.
Should I make the Redeemer chest with Explodey? Yeah, why not? The Redeemer chest is OP with Explodey.
I have nothing more to give.
The storm approaches.
The prefix and suffix though, oh shit, that's actually annoying.
Thus, the vagaries of chance.
Already know the winner. Life is so brittle.
Wait, how did I get 6 ruin? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. Oh no!
For now,
Holy shit, how did I even get 6 ruin? What the fuck?
victor.
It's even possible. Survive was ruin and stressful? Yeah, that was very stressful. What the hell? Dude, this is not enough damage. What? Doctor? You guys are trolling. Oh, looks like it paid out. You told me it was good, dude. Quiddy literally. Anyhow, I hope everyone enjoyed those clips. It was pretty fun doing the Inscribed Ultimatums. I'll probably do a little bit more in the coming streams. Try to buy them out off stream, see how it goes, set up some live searches, and I'll include the better trading for the ones that I'm using, just in case other people might want to do it, even though I know you'll probably snipe it out from under me. But there is gonna be a lot of, I have to think about what I'll be doing for this character, because I'm not really sure what's the best money making method. I've tried a lot of different ways, from fracture maps, 100% delirium maps. Maybe delve will be the answer, but we'll see. I definitely still want to upgrade this character's gear a lot more, as it does have a lot of potential. And even wanted to do delve, I need RMR clusters and I need a CI. So maybe I'll try out stack of walls in the coming days, but we'll see. But if you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe and check out my Twitch. I stream every day. And I hope you learned something about Inscribed Ultimatums. It is the best part about this league, in my opinion. It's not the non-existent Taskmaster or the Ultimatum encounters. The Inscribed Ultimatums are where it's at. It's always fun to do, and I hope I'll never fail one, but we'll see. And see you later, and thanks for watching.